You know, what if a simple trivia question, the kind you'd hear at a pub quiz, could actually unlock the secret history of an entire continent? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to uncover a lie on the map, one that reveals a much deeper truth about power, geography, and, well, destiny.
So let's start with that question. Which country is the longest in the world from north to south? Go ahead, picture a world map in your head right now. You got an answer?
I'm willing to bet most of you said Chile. And hey, you're in good company. For decades, that's been the answer everyone knows. I mean, just look at it. It's this incredibly long, skinny ribbon of a country just clinging to the edge of South America. It just looks like it has to be the longest, right?
But what if I told you that this piece of common knowledge, this obvious fact that we've all just accepted for years, is completely 100% wrong?
Yeah, the real answer is a genuine surprise, and it really just comes down to the numbers. This is a tale of two countries we thought we knew, but maybe we didn't.
Okay, look at this. Chile measures 4,270 kilometers from its northernmost point to its southernmost point. But Brazil? Brazil comes in at 4,378 kilometers. That's right, Brazil is longer than Chile. And not by a little bit. We're talking about a difference of over 100 kilometers.
Which, of course, leads to the much bigger question here, how on earth did the entire world get such a simple fact so spectacularly wrong for so long?
You're not going to believe this. The answer is almost funny. This whole myth was spread for years by the super influential, widely cited CIA World Factbook. And their mistake? They rounded the latitude numbers. That's it. A basic rounding error, the kind of thing you're told not to do in middle school math, created a global geographical myth that lasted for decades. So you might be thinking, okay, 100 kilometers, a rounding error, so what? Who cares? And honestly, that's the real point. Does this little factoid even matter? Well, yeah, it matters a lot. Because this small lie points us toward a gigantic truth. To really get South America, you have to understand this one core idea. Here, geography isn't just the stage where history happens. It's the force that actually writes the script. And look, we make explainers that try to change how you see the world. So if this is your kind of thing, make sure you're subscribed.
So let's zoom out. Let's explore how the very bones of this continent, its mountains, its rivers, its massive basins, have literally dictated its fate for centuries.
There's actually a name for this concept. It's called geographical determinism. And it's basically the idea that the physical world, the climate, the mountains, the rivers, doesn't just influence society, it actively sets the boundaries of what's possible. It acts as both an incitement, offering up opportunities, and a limit, putting up barriers that are incredibly difficult to overcome.
Now, when you look at South America, its story is dominated by two absolutely colossal features. You've got the Andes Mountains in the west, this unbelievable wall of rock stretching down the entire continent. And then in the east, you have the Amazon Basin, the largest and most powerful river system on the entire planet.
And these two features, they didn't just create a divide for water. They created a divide for history, for people, and for opportunity itself.
I mean, just think about what the Andes did. First, they acted as this massive barrier, effectively cutting off the Pacific coast from everything else. This incredible geological force also churned up the Earth, pushing all these valuable minerals like silver and copper right up to the surface. And maybe most importantly, this massive mountain range acts like a continental spine, forcing almost every single major river to flow east, away from the Pacific and out towards the Atlantic. This left the Pacific coast steep and abrupt, with almost no good places for natural deepwater ports. And this visual says it all. On the left, you see the physical geography we just talked about, and on the right, that's where people actually live. You see? The population is just jammed onto the coastal edges, especially along the Atlantic.
It created this huge, disconnected, and mostly empty interior. It basically broke the continent up from the inside.
And this disconnected reality, well, it pretty much wrote the playbook for the European empires. They didn't show up looking to build integrated, thriving nations. No, they were interested in one thing and one thing only: getting resources out. So what you get is a history defined by these dramatic cycles of boom and bust. First, there was the silver cycle in the Andes, which made Spain fabulously wealthy. Then came the sugar cycle on Brazil's coast, an industry built on the absolute horror of the slave trade. And much later, the rubber boom deep in the Amazon. Each one was this intense explosion of wealth in one isolated spot, and each one was followed by an inevitable and devastating collapse.
All of this incredible wealth flowed out, enriching empires thousands of miles away. But it did almost nothing to build a connected continent at home. The impossible terrain and vast distances created what historians call island-like societies. Think of them as isolated pockets of civilization, focused on a single resource, with almost no trade or communication between them. The geography just made it too hard.
Which brings us all the way to today, and it begs the question, can this destiny, a destiny that's been written in stone and rivers for 500 years, finally be rewritten?
It's really fascinating when you think about it. We started with this tiny lie on a map, a simple mistake about which country is the longest. But that little error pulls back the curtain on this giant truth: how easily we ignore the deep, fundamental forces, like geography, that are constantly shaping our world. So the ultimate question really is this: if the physical landscape has been the primary limit and incitement for South American societies for hundreds of years, can its people, through new technology, global trade, and just sheer force of will, finally overcome those limits? Can they forge a truly integrated and prosperous future for themselves?
Is geography still destiny here or in the 21st century in general? We really want to know what you think about all this. Drop your thoughts in the comments below.